Hey guys! Well, we are trying something new. We have lots of really cool conversations sometimes, and Lucy will even turn the video camera on in the car and record me, but unfortunately, sometimes those conversations, the recordings don't come out. So we're going to try having a conversation in front of the camera setup, which might be kind of weird at first, but we'll get used to it.
Like a pajama talk, because we're both in our pajamas.
Yeah, the Pajama Talks. Sounds like a UN or country thing, like the Monroe Doctrine Talks or something. The Pajama Talks.
I don't know where you got that idea from.
It's just because we're so black.
So something I mentioned right before the video started, when I was cleaning out one of our rabbits' cages, was the fact that sometimes, especially lately, I feel like our life is life in general is just kind of focused on ers. And what I mean by that is, for instance, I'm in 8th grade, so when I go to get into a college, they're going to be looking at my grades right now, and so, or the grades I have right now. So, a lot of times, colleges like MIT, which is the college I hope to go to because I want to be an aerospace engineer, which is cool. But, so a lot of times colleges, especially tier 1 colleges, will narrow everyone down to valedictorians and then narrow that down much further. And there are a lot of other examples of this, like, it's always like the most important person or the smartest person or the richest person that's always the focus of everything, or the worst person possible or the worst event that could possibly happen on the news. So what about everything else? Because there's so much else you could explore except for you're looking for the most of something.
I think that's really interesting because I remember feeling like that when I was in high school. And the reason that her 8th grade grades will count for her for college is because she's already taking some college level classes and high school level classes. So that's why she's under a little more pressure, I think, than most other 8th graders, because she knows that what she's doing right now really is going to be looked at by the college recruiters. And I happen to be a college recruiter.
So it's like, every time she tells me a story about work, I'm like, oh shoot, that's going to apply to me.
Yeah. So I really do, I think that's a very interesting perspective and something that I never thought of until you said it earlier, from your point of view. You know what I mean? Because you're right. When we talk about grades, B's aren't good enough. They need to be A's, right?
Because the college I want to go to, MIT, they're not going to accept someone with a B because everyone with A's is applying. So why would they accept someone lesser when they could accept someone who's more likely to pass with flying colors and boost their reputation?
Now I understand that completely. There is a very high bar to get into MIT. But one thing you have to think about too is that getting into MIT or any college in particular is not the most important thing in life. And
because eventually you're going to graduate, and then that was your entire life focus. You're going to be like, well, what now?
Exactly. So you will graduate from college. MIT will be behind you, and then you've got to set new goals for yourself and new things. But most of life, our life, is not in the biggest or best or most important, those kind of most minutes of your life are spent in the in-between, right? Not in the worst spot and not in the best spot.
We're not not in the Guinness World Records, because it's either the largest or the smallest, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The most or the least.
So one thing that I think is really important, and my dad helped me learn this, is that you have to be happy where you are right now. So most of the time you have a goal you're trying to reach, okay? The moments where you achieve those things, like the moment you graduate from high school, or the moment that this school year ends, or the moment that you make an A on a test, those moments are very short, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
And they
like high school graduation for our schools, because we have to, like, you know, middle schoolers have to like be part of the audience for the high school graduations every year, and so it only takes like 2 hours or so, but like that's 2 hours representing like how many years?
Yeah, exactly. So the moments that you celebrate achievements are very brief moments in our lives. They're important moments, and we definitely want to celebrate them, but the amount of work that we do to get to that point is a lot.
Like the journey is more important than the destination.
Thank you. Exactly. So it's very important that you're happy on the journey, because that is where your life is. You know what I mean? That's where,
like, your life is a journey, and it will lead to a destination, but your life isn't a destination. And if it was a destination, then you'd be bored for a long time, because like eventually you get, so like this is something that I'm especially realizing right now. Eventually you get bored with the new stuff. So I'm 13, and so gradually I'm experiencing more and more responsibilities and stuff like that. And then in the beginning, when you first get that, you're like, yay, like I'm proud of myself for getting here. And then after, like, you're just used to that, and it's just kind of a part of your life, or just like, well, what's so special about that? You know, it's like, that's sometimes what I feel like is more of like a problem for, well, really everyone in the world, but especially like in countries like America where we live, where you can like get a car or something like that. Like, there are countries where you don't get that responsibility, not because you're not responsible, because there's just no resources.
mm-hmm. Yeah. And everybody, no matter where you are in your life, you always have a new goal, right? Everywhere you are in your life, you have a new goal. And some goals you will reach, and some goals you won't be able to reach, ever. And that's okay. You know what I mean?
I feel like setting the ridiculously high goal that you're never going to be able to get. Like, everyone always says that that's a bad thing because it will lower your self-esteem, because you know you're not going to be able to get that goal even though you want to. I feel like that's actually kind of a good thing to do, because if you set in between goals saying like, well, I will be happy if I get at least this far, or I'll be happy if I make an A on this test, even if I don't make an A for the semester, that kind of thing. I feel like that's probably one of the most important parts of that. It's not really necessarily setting the highest goal possible, although that is a part of it. It's setting smaller goals that are also high. Not that are also high, but high for you.
You have to be happy doing what you're doing every day. And every day of your whole life, you're going to be working toward a goal. And you always want to be the best,
Mm-hmm.
or the fastest, or recruiting is basically sales, right? So I want to recruit the most students, or the best students, or I want to have the best relationships with my students or my guidance counselors. You know what I mean? I want to make the most phone calls or send the most emails. That's just what I live with every day. I'm comfortable with setting goals like that for myself. I enjoy those kind of challenges. Some people don't like that kind of stuff and would hate sales.
I would hate sales. If I went into like a business major or something, I would have to get another major, because I could not handle that.
Daddy, my husband hates sales too. I mean, I think he thinks I'm crazy, but
She's crazy too.
I really enjoy the time that you get to spend with people. And one of the best things about college recruiting is that you're truly getting the chance to help a student make life decisions, right?
It's like, where you go to college, your kids are going to have that memorization, or have that knowledge memorized. And
Yeah.
like, it's just gonna be something that you ingrain, and you're gonna hopefully be prideful of where you went to college, because that's the reason why all these like jobs like to hire me and stuff like that. And that's where I developed into having a lot more responsibility, things like that.
Yeah.